And we're back.
What's
Yeah,
up, MJ?
It's going snow.
Not much. We're here
right.
for conspiracies.
No, don't call them conspiracies. Call them
Theories.
opposing theories, yeah.
Conspiracy theories.
We've got Norman here. And the criticism that we get is we don't have people with different views.
The correct views. Sorry to interrupt, but you don't have people with the correct views is the problem.
Well, we haven't gotten into any views yet, so how do we know?
That is to be determined.
Well,
folks.
that's why I'm here to rectify whatever
all right.
failures in logic you might fall into.
All right.
Okay.
Well, let's go.
All right. We're in for it today, aren't we?
Sounded a little self-important when I phrase it like that.
Oh, man. All right, should we? Let's start.
Are you scared?
Scared. Please. I wanted this.
I know, right?
Conflict breeds.
I like the term conflict of interest.
Yeah. It's not necessarily going to be conflict. We don't know because we don't even know.
All right.
Let's start off. All right, let's go. We'll start off with softball. JFK.
He didn't play softball. He was a JFK. No, the classic is the grassy knoll.
The assassination of JFK. Yes.
The circumstances of Lee Harvey Oswald going to Russia and then petition or what was he doing? Leafleting for Cuba. I think odds are 75% Oswald did it and he did it alone.
Really?
I think he had help.
75%.
Yeah, I think.
I think I would
I've
heard more about it later.
Now that would be one hell of a shot. And how do you explain the bullet going? Here, the magic bullet.
I'm glad you brought that up. Done a lot of shooting. Bullets do weird things. I mean, for instance, if you you shoot at a 55-gallon drum.
Yeah.
If you hit it dead center, it'll go straight through, generally. Or go in and deform and then end up in the barrel. But if you hit it slightly to the side, it'll go around that barrel. You'll find it in that barrel almost what's the word I'm looking for? Undeformed. Bullets do weird things, and with the seating in the that Lincoln.
So you say if you hit a barrel on the side, it'll just kind of spin around.
Right.
And you'll find the bullet intact at the bottom.
That finding the bullet on the stretcher thing, I don't even know why. Even if it were true, I don't know why they would say that because it sounds like nonsense. I found this bullet on the stretcher. That's ridiculous. Although maybe it was true.
Although, to the conspiracy point, I'm going to play the part of the conspiracy theorist, is how come they haven't released the reports? Because they were supposed to be released, and then I think Trump wanted to get released.
Yeah, they were going to get released under him.
Biden said don't release them. So they haven't been released yet. Why is that?
There's no money in it. I don't know. I truly don't know. I don't think that certainly.
There's money in it if you release it as a book.
Certainly, it doesn't prove that there's something in there they don't want us to know.
Who knows?
I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things.
We don't know.
It's one of those. That's one of the most frustrating ones because we'll never know. I mean, we'll never know.
After I've seen documentaries on it, yeah, I'm like, there's no way that dude did all of it on his own. There's no way. There's no way that guy did all of it on his own. Yeah. I think there was two people.
And Jack Ruby killing him is another weird.
Yeah, and the planning on it. So, okay, I think
that is one of the conspiracies that I think is the weirdest. Is the JFK one?
Here it is. We said we were going to disagree, but it seems like we all kind
now
of
we're
agree
agreeing. Ding, ding, ding. Wait, this one's a loser.
You'll go in. You'll sound like a lunatic if you're not agnostic about the JFK assassination. There's no way that anyone can know unless.
And see, we agree.
And it's a shame because it's not an unimportant incident in American history. But I will say this. Johnson, it's almost incontrovertible. I learned that from a Pink Floyd song, that Johnson did in fact steal his election when he was going to I believe it was Senate. He was a senator before vice president. He stole that election in Texas. It's almost like an open secret that he did steal that election.
Okay, if Johnson had something to do with it, then why didn't he he got thrown into the presidency right after the assassination, but then the next time that the election rolled around again, didn't he choose to not run?
Yes, because he
That if he was like a power-hungry asshole that purposely had the president killed, why wouldn't he have served 2 terms? I don't understand that.
Okay, I'm gonna go way left field with it, Mike. I'm changing my vote. Johnson had him killed, but Johnson was being puppeteered by the bankers, by the Rothschilds. Stay with me. This is going to sound crazy, but it's going to get really wacky at the end.
Okay.
Where does the mafia and the CIA come into it?
Right? Yeah. Don't forget about them.
Or it could be the KGB.
They were the real patsies. No, stay with me. Stay with me. And I'm just going to say these facts. I'm going to say these facts, and they will be facts, and you can verify them.
Okay.
By some other kook on the internet. Johnson really, really put us in Vietnam. We can agree on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And simultaneously, and most people blame Nixon for taking us off the gold standard. It was really Johnson that took us off the gold standard. He reduced the percentage of gold backing required to print so many US dollars. He was the one that effectively took us off the gold standard. He made the gold standard a joke. And that's the only way we could have afforded
That we'd
the
have to
Vietnam
look
War.
up.
That's the only way we could
Fact
afford
check
it. That's the truth.
Okay.
And Kennedy was doing something with our currency. A lot of people think he was trying to take us back to a silver-backed currency. I don't read the document that way. And there is a document, I think it's 11110, executive order, whatever. Johnson did take us off the gold standard, and he did get us in a war that could not have been afforded if we were still on the gold standard. And those defense contractors that made a fortune in Vietnam, I think that's who's calling the real shots.
I think that's what's most fucked about our currency is the fact that we don't fucking manufacture shit here anymore. Like if you have a good that you can always continue to make money because you have something of value, but we don't have that anymore. We're now like a credit society anyways. I mean, like we don't make anything anymore.
And
we don't do things here. We're like I don't know, are we now considered like the glorified middleman? I don't really know, like in the aspect that I'm not really super savvy on business anyways, but I mean,
well, we're the rich people, and the rich people don't live next to the factory. And this is a totally mercenary point of view, but if a bunch of Chinese people are choking on the factories that build my kid's plastic Escalade that's under the tree, do they still make an Escalade? Anyway, my point is, from a completely mercenary point of view, what do I care if a bunch of Chinese people work for 50 cents a day and have suicide nets around their factories, as long as I don't have to smell the fumes or drink the filthy water, and I get all the products, and I can just pay them these ridiculous dollars, and I get that stuff.
Well, but don't we all live on the same planet? I mean, eventually it's going to affect us.
Those products are stuck off ships off.
Yeah, we're having... Right now, we're seeing that.
Yeah. So
because of California COVID. Yeah. Don't get me started.
Okay, we'll get you started later. Although we started in the '60s here, Norman. Why would you choose the name of Norman from Psycho, which was in the '60s? You try to be a valid point.
Well,
or Norman Rockwell.
No,
there's Norman Rockwell.
Yeah, well done. But no, I think he hit the nail on the head. It has a lot to do with my relationship with my mother. But I don't think that any. She's sitting in the fourth chair right now, aren't you, Mother? She's quiet. She says nothing.
Okay, so let's go back through history. The moon landing. Did it happen?
Listen to me. I will say this. Since I moved to Arizona and I looked around, if they didn't film the moon landing in the desert of Arizona, they're freaking idiots because they should have. Yeah. Why the hell would I? You print any picture in black and white, take the trees out of it, you're on the freaking moon. It is crazy that they made that fake moon. They made a moon, like a 2x2 mile moon outside of Flagstaff. What? It's not a round moon. They recreate. See, I sound crazy when I say this. Is it a flat moon? They recreate. Oh my God! They recreated it with the craters and the surface of the moon outside of Flagstaff. This is not me being crazy. This is factual.
Right, and there was this whole thing with Stanley Kubrick, The Shining.
Are you talking about Meteor's
Right, the
crater?
230. Yeah. But God, I got to tell you, I'm agnostic about the moon landing.
Well, you can't be agnostic about everything.
Well,
I think
but
we really went to the moon.
When I worked for NASA, excuse me, point of order, sir.
You can like quit taking sides on everything, I suppose, right?
No.
That's basically an agnostic.
Now, maybe they found something on the dark side of the moon, which is a
Pink Floyd.
There's a moon. There's a movie coming out next year called Moonfall, and they find out the moon was fake and it was built by aliens or something like that.
For God's sakes.
Whatever.
Here would be my favorite conspiracy theory.
Okay.
When we got to the moon, we recognized that there had already been humans on the moon like 10,000 years previous. We found spaceship landing modules there, and we realized that our civilization has grown to moon landing status and then fallen back to caveman, and we get to do this every 20,000 years.
Is there water on the moon?
There's absolutely no water on the moon.
Then how would there be people there?
I'm just saying that it had been... My fantasy is that they got there and they found that men have been there before thousands of years previous.
Maybe they made a pit stop
okay.
on the moon as they were coming here because somebody from another planet built the pyramids.
No, they built the monolith. Gee, you mentioned Stanley Kubrick and we're talking about pyramids? Nonsense.
No, there is a theory of aliens building the pyramids, though. That's a popular conspiracy theory too.
I've seen Stargate. I know the facts.
How have you not heard of this, Norman?
Anyway, let's get to this one because it's been argued to death. If I have to guess yes or no, I think we probably went to the moon.
Okay.
Although
I think we have, but
all right, we're 2 for 2. We all agree.
Wait, one more. But saying that without
look at
question,
all this agreeing. happening.
saying that without question, like you're an idiot if you don't think we went to the moon. I don't think you're taking into consideration what an amazing, amazing feat that was.
Oh no.
They had to beat the
I am holding more
Russians.
computer power in my hand than it took to get to the moon.
Because if you could beam me to 1969, and you'd say, okay, here's the technology we're going to use, and we're going to go to the frickin' moon, and we're going to come back. I'm like, dude, you're all going to die, man. There's no way you can do that.
Sure.
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for that time.
It's almost embarrassing that we put that much effort and human ability into that masturbatory adventure. Because what the hell did we gain from going to the moon? Holy shit, it's made out of the same rocks as the Earth is.
It was a race, though. It was like race to space back then. Like, it was a big thing back then.
Well,
I mean, we were all either not born or small children.
You make a Sputnik, screw you. We'll go to the frickin' moon, man.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll put a flag up there and everything.
All right. So, again,
2 for 2.
See, the whole point of having Norman on was he was going to
be
the opposing view.
He was going to show us
well,
something.
We'll keep on going.
Okay.
We're going to come to something.
Next topic.
All right. So we're going. I guess we're.
Are we going to ask about lizard people yet, or is that later down the list?
Are there aliens among us? Now, I'm kind of agnostic on
The
that.
lizard people. The lizard people.
Only Mark Zuckerberg.
Shape-shifting
He's the
lizard.
Yes.
and
Bezos.
Bezos. And Bezos.
He looks like he's already
Bezos?
AI. Bezos. But Rocket Man, but getting back to Zuckerberg already moves his head like he's AI. Like when he was in the things in front of Congress, like him.
What was that show?
Ever so slightly
What was
tilting
that
that
show
head.
during the 80s? Max Headroom?
Yes.
Yeah, he would glitch.
He's
once in a
like
while.
that, like,
you keep on
yeah.
expecting Mark Zuckerberg to glitch while he's talking.
Or that other show where they had that robot daughter, like that Tiffany chick or whatever. I forget the name of the show, but like they had her and she was like moved like a robot. They all remind me of Zuckerberg.
Yeah, no, he's a disturbing character. I mean, that's a strange person.
If there are shape-shifting lizards, I think he probably is one.
So is
Him and Mitch McConnell.
So we agree there's life on other planets, that because the universe is infinite, that there has to be intelligent life.
We
out there
can't
somewhere.
just be the only life out there.
God, what a disappointment to the creator that would be. To baby Jesus. Baby Jesus would be so disappointed if this is as good as it gets. He goes, hey, Dad, I'm going to go visit this place. They'll probably treat me really good. I'll tell them you're my father. Hey, guys, what are you doing? You know, God's my father. I want to hang out with you dudes. Yeah, come over here. Come here, put this on. Put this hat on. Come here. No, you the carpenter. You know what he was doing for... Never mind. Go ahead.
Well, and I think that's why we haven't discovered aliens, is because aliens came down here and go, well, there's no intelligent life down here, and they just went back.
They were like, we're out of here.
You got that from a T-shirt. Come on. Come on. Highbrow it a little for us.
Well, maybe there are much better places, and Earth might be a disappointment. They're like, yeah, let's never go back there again.
Especially
They
after
might have
last
already
few years.
came here, and they were like, it's overrated. Trust me, you're wasting your time. Kind of like places in Ohio. No offense to our Ohio listeners.
And
My mother's buried in Ohio.
And that goes.
I dug her up so she could be here with us.
My dad was born in Ohio.
Where was it? Seriously, where was it
All
born?
right, I'm sorry. I mean Nebraska. Should I pick
it was
Nebraska?
Outside Columbus.
Well, everything's technically outside Columbus. I mean,
Well, that area.
okay. No,
It's
no,
kind of
my
like you
sister went
have
to
the
school,
T-shirt.
in
You
Columbus.
know the
like
saying
everyone else.
like you been there, done that, have the T-shirt to prove it. Don't ever need to go back. Like maybe that's how aliens felt about Earth. They're like, all right,
See, this is how
We're
we
good.
go back. Okay, Zuckerberg is an alien.
He might as well be an alien. He is, whatever his DNA that created that person is so foreign to mine, he might as well be an alien.
Okay, which leads us to why you're not on social media.
I think it's despicable. Listen, this is not a joke. I mean,
No, you're absolutely right.
it is despicable.
Right.
It is soul sucking. I believe it's evil. I do not believe in what people, Christians, or I'm speaking about the revelation here. If there is a beast, I don't need there to be some conscious deity to tell me that that internet is evil, and participation in it on a day-to-day basis, it's like jerking off the devil. Which ain't a bad gig, by the way. I'll be doing it for all
if
eternity.
you get paid well.
Right. Yeah, those people like, hey, type amen and you'll come into it $10,000 or whatever you see. I see it on my post. And like, my stupid friends type amen under it. I'm like, what the?
You mean amen like amen? Like
Amen.
Like, yeah, like
Amen.
amen. Praise
Hallelujah.
Jesus. Yeah. And there's people who believe that
Yeah.
because I have friends who would repost that.
I am finding myself.
You think that's
Just in-
going to work?
Back to me, please. I'm the narcissist here, if you don't mind. I'm finding myself.
We gathered.
I'm seeing more valid. This is going to. It's so difficult to not be a religious nut when you start talking about the Bible and saying, geez, there's a lot of wisdom in that thing. I believe the Bible was an attempt for the old guys of centuries before us to attempt to put down in writing what to be worried about.
Be a good person.
Be a good frickin' person.
Yeah. Well,
Be a good
yeah.
person.
Yeah, it was
Be a good
invented
person.
to teach morals.
Yes.
But people take it like way too far. And then you have people who understand things differently than other people. So then they're
Well, then
not
then
quite
you get,
getting the
you
real
get-
message, you know?
You get to the other religions at that point and the offshoots of, but they all basically, of any religion, the moral is to try to be a good person.
You'd think
Right.
so. And how does that get perverted? Stay with me, because we do it too. How do you pervert Christianity, the pray for your enemies and let them turn the other cheek? How do you pervert Christianity into grab a gun and go shoot people? And I'm not a pacifist. I love frickin' war. Love it. We need it. We need to be. But how do you align Christianity with the soldier, especially a soldier who's not fighting other soldiers but fighting civilians? How do they do that? It's amazing. It's an amazing dismissal of your own ideals.
Snow, I hate to break it to him. We're green. We're still green.
I mean,
It
and
took
the thing-
this whole thing to realize that, right?
No,
It took
this
this
is-
whole episode.
I want to clarify this. I used to think that it was so stupid when you look at those old paintings of people lining up on the battlefield and just shooting at each other. You look at that and you say, well, why don't you hide in a tree and shoot? I'll tell you why. Because it's not noble. And they got on the battlefield where there were no women, no children, and they said, okay.
And they sang songs to meet up with
Oh,
each other.
and then
we
they
are coming.
They shot at each
And
other.
they did that speech Mel Gibson gives in Braveheart.
I'm pretty sure that was like directly taken. I liked it in that movie when the girl was being taken away to bang the lord or master. She had to have first prima knocked. And she goes, I'll be okay. I'm like, okay, that's not a word in 1600, 1400, whenever, 1200. When was William Wallace?
Well, you can't,
I'll be okay. All right, be okay.
Well, Mel Gibson really, this was before the Passion of the Christ, and he wasn't really going back to the old languages.
Wait, is The Passion of the Christ that movie you made, or are we talking about the traffic stop?
No, the Passion, the movie he made.
Oh, okay.
Which I can barely sit through.
Yeah, well, you know,
I didn't want to read the subtitles.
The
whole thing.
snuff film of them killing Jesus.
I tell you what, I'm agnostic as to whether or not the individual that they call Jesus of Nazareth, I'm agnostic about whether or not that guy existed.
Oh, I think Jesus existed.
So
As a person?
I do not think that an individual named that, or even a close, whether you call him Emmanuel or Yeshua, or I don't think. Where's the scripture about Jesus' next door neighbor? It's hard for me to believe, and that does not, to me, that does not dismiss the importance of the message. I think the message is all that's important, and I think the opening phrase of the Bible is, "In the beginning there was the Word," and the Word's what's important. We get caught up on this idolatry of the Christ crucified, and we forget the message is what's important.
Which is be a good person.
Fill the collection plate, I believe, is the message.
Well, no, that's how it became bastardized over the years.
Works though.
They're like,
Yeah,
my private jet's running a little low on fuel. Fill the collection basket.
That's so
Yeah, if you
despicable.
wanna
That
save
is so
yourself.
despicable.
All right, so Jesus as a real person.
And I think it's irrelevant. And it's irrelevant to me.
Well, yeah, and how did they come up with the whole Virgin Mary and all this other...
The thing is, and I do not know the details of this, but if you look at previous religions, they are so similar. The virgin birth, that's not new to Christianity. And I didn't arm myself with this. I didn't intend to talk about this, but
Either do we.
the thing is, worshiping the sun,
Yeah.
it's not
the
stupid.
sun
Every
god.
bit of energy, every bit of life on this planet has to come from the sun. I think worshiping the sun and giving it a persona, I don't think that's crazy.
And they would see it every day, so they would when the sun would come up, then they would worship the sun. Horus, the sun god.
Is that picking up?
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound delicious?
Doesn't matter. Yeah, what are you drinking?
Yeah.
Orange juice, ice, and
Beer Mosa.
Miller High Life.
The champagne of beers.
How is it?
Surprisingly good and very manly. Really more masculine than it sounds. I mean, I want to go tire iron somebody in the face right now. I'm so manly.
Okay,
Well,
so
that goes against the Bible, though.
See, now if I
I
do it,
know.
it'll be premeditated. I'll use a baseball bat, obviously. Don't be silly.
next
All right,
conspiracy.
let's see here.
Flat Earth.
Flat Earth.
This is a good one. I'm glad you brought it up. I'm very surprised. Here's the thing. Can I be really vulgar? I'm going to pretend to really
Yeah.
be pissed off.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Listen here, you ignorant bitches. I went female on it. That has
Do it.
That's about my mom, too. You believe the earth is round only because you've been taught the earth is round. You cannot prove the earth is round. I guarantee you can't prove it to me.
When you're on an airplane and you look at the horizon. And
No,
it
you've never been on an airplane high enough to see the curvature of the earth. God bless you. You've never been on an
You
airplane
do
high
have
enough.
to be up higher, because I think an airplane is at 30,000 feet, and they're saying that you have to be at 50,000 feet at least in order to see it.
And even then, I will say this, even then, and don't get me wrong, I know the earth is round. I know it's round. But I don't know it because somebody told me that.
Okay.
What about this? Okay, wait. What about the sun coming up in one spot different than it, and it's not up at the other spot yet? That doesn't prove anything. Like if it's coming up, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, right?
Their nonsense flat earth model, the physical model they build that looks like the UN symbol, it covers that. And I appreciate what you're saying, but it covers
Okay.
that. They've really made some.
Okay. Here's one. How about you're flying to, say, London, and if you draw a straight line from here to London, like on a map, but then you do the calculation of the curvature of the Earth, and it's a shorter distance with the curvature to London rather than the straight line.
What you're referring to, MJ? He said condescendingly, what you're referring to is a great circle route. But that
A circle. Okay, a circle is round.
Stay with me, though. Stay with me.
Like a circle ain't flat.
Stay with me, though. That has to do with a Mercator projection map. You can all look this
Okay,
up.
well, we can do this experiment right here. Okay, from my beer to your beer. Okay,
Right.
let's measure the distance from my beer to your beer, and let's measure the distance from my beer to Snow's beer to your beer.
Okay.
Which one's longer?
Allow me to explain, sir. What you're talking about, the difference between what's a straight line on a map versus a straight line on the Earth, that's because it's very difficult to make a curved item perfectly definable on a flat map. That was so articulate. I can't believe what I just said. Maps are weird and they're fascinating. Cartography, is that cartography? That's the Miller High Life speaking.
That's a big word.
But that, I will tell you this, that alone, I appreciate what you're saying. The only way I know the Earth is round, the only way that without going to space.
Wait. You just said you know the Earth is round.
I know it's round.
Okay.
Okay, how do
Then
you
where's the
know it's
argument
round?
there? We agree again.
No,
I know.
No, wait,
We
stop.
agree again.
No. Here's the argument, though. You believe it's round because you've been told it was round. And what I like about the flat earthers, what I like about them is they're saying, I might be the critical thought. But then they just join their own cult where they believe the earth is flat because it's not flat. I'm sorry. It'd be great if it was flat. That'd be really interesting. But I like that they're questioning something that we all knee-jerk say, oh, the earth is round. You can't prove to me it's round. I can prove to myself it's round.
How?
I can see pictures from satellites. That's
Irrelevant. I can
Okay.
fake pictures. Done. That's easy to irrelevant.
Okay.
I can fake
So,
pictures.
every single wait a second. Every single astronaut who's ever been into space and have all said that the Earth is round. They might all be lying.
Well, they lied about the moon landing. Oh wait.
They might all be
No.
fucking lying. Not one of them will say that it's flat.
Here's the thing that offends me. We knew the Earth was round way before astronauts. Here's what offends me about the flat earthers. I might cry a little. They dismiss the centuries of celestial observations that prove the Earth is round and the navigation, the old school star navigation that required all this math and all this centuries of observations, and they're going to dismiss that because they didn't like their frickin' fifth grade teacher.
So tell us how you know it's round.
I'm going to tell you.
How do you know?
I'm glad you asked that, Snow.
Okay, thank you.
I've done celestial navigation on the open ocean, and I've been to the southern hemisphere and watched the North Star disappear, and there's no way that can happen on a flat Earth.
Okay.
That can't happen. And the fascinating math that I didn't develop, but I was able to get a keyhole view of, it can't be a flat Earth, and it's beautiful.
Why don't you start telling flat earthers
They
this
would never
info?
listen. I had that argument. Was it you? Oh,
Yeah. You're not gonna.
you cannot.
Change someone's mind.
You'll never convince them. But you could grab them by the hand and say, "I'll pay for the trip. Get on my boat with me. I'll teach you how to do celestial nav, and I'll take you to the southern hemisphere." Now, this is hypothetical. I mean, I've got a shitload of money, tons of money, lots of money, but not enough for a sailboat. Jesus, nobody can afford that.
Okay.
The thing is, they will not let you prove it. They will not let you prove that they're wrong. They won't allow it. They are so fixated.
Yeah.
It's a cult. It is a cult.
Again, more words, more green.
Right.
I cell phones have me against those because of GPS.
20 years, it's more than 20 years ago. 30 years ago. If I told you, although you're suspected and convicted of no crime, I'm going to put a monitor on you that listens to your conversations, tracks you everywhere you go, you'd say, and you have to take it with you everywhere you go. Now, you think you have a choice with your cell phone, but none of you people do. You don't. You guys are addicted to that thing. You've got an ankle bracelet on you, and you got an ankle monitor on you, and you do that voluntarily. It disgusts me. It disgusts me to see that. And I don't know anybody else without a cell phone, and it blows my mind that there's not a club. There should be at least 10% of us that don't want that. Why would I want 8 billion people on this idiotic planet to be able to dial 10 digits and make my freaking phone ring? That was passion. I was passionate with that argument.
But
How
don't
many
you
others are
still
like you?
have a phone that you use?
Do you know anybody like you?
No, and this is the weird thing. No other product is so universally purchased and kept, maintained. The cell phone is virtually 100%. 100%. People have a cell. Virtually 100% have a cell phone.
Okay, I'm gonna counter your argument though. You do use email.
Yes.
Okay, your IP address.
No, I
Can't
appreciate
they
that.
do this in?
Oh, 100%. But I appreciate that. I think I'd be way more into wackadoo territory if I'd love to cut it all off, but I'm not going to get somebody to write me a damn letter. That's just not going to happen. Right. So I still maintain, if you called my phone number, it would look like I have a phone. I use Google Voice.
I mean,
I use Google Voice.
They're gonna trace you no matter what because
but I'm always at home.
Because if you mail a letter, it tell you where you sent it from.
Yeah.
If you send it out by
they know you
if
can't
you send it out by a
escape.
homing pigeon, they could just trace where the pigeon's flying back to.
But that requires, and here's the thing.
We all live in the same house, and that is called Earth. Like, there's no escaping. We're all on one big, giant Truman Show, okay? You can't get off.
And we're going to get into this in a minute. There's those people that don't want to take the vaccine. We're going to get into this in a little bit. But they say they don't want to be tracked. Meanwhile, they're on Facebook going, I am not taking the vaccine because I don't want to be tracked.
It's idiotic. The only social media, and I'll call it social media, that I engage in, and I'm embarrassed that I do this. I'll still comment on YouTube videos. And it's so masturbatory and so impotent to... So if you can imagine actually masturbating to a flaccid penis, the impotence and the masturbatory nature of making comments on YouTube videos, usually I'll type them in and cancel them, but they still go into the beast's belly. They're tracking everything. Yeah. But I don't envision human beings tracking this stuff. I don't think there's some FBI agent twisting his freaking mustache and watching what Norman is doing today.
No, how many people would it take to actually
exactly?
Track
That's the thing. It takes zero people. It goes into a data bank, and then when they run into me on the street and I step on their freaking toe, they say, "Who's this Norman guy?" And then they collect all the data. Oh, he jacked off to donkey porn 10 weeks ago. Let's tell his church group that.
Yeah.
It is blackmail. It is compromat. It is blackmail. It is Jeff Epstein caliber blackmail material.
And that's why Mark Zuckerberg is the devil.
Who could they not? Who could they not control? Who could they not control with the threat to reveal everything you've ever looked at on the internet?
Yeah.
It's like being able to control you with being able to reveal every thought you've ever had. Yes, I wanted to kick her in the ass. I only use that as an example.
That's where the Google glasses.
So nowadays,
where you start to think about something and you'll be able to.
So nowadays, when you die and you go up to the pearly gates, does Saint Peter sit there and bring up your whole internet search list now?
That's why
what's going on now too.
The movie The Matrix was actually brilliant.
Brilliant. If we're talking about Matrix 1.
Yeah, Matrix 1.
Not that other flushable garbage.
But if you go back and watch The Matrix 1 now, it is a scary movie.
Wait.
It's a horror.
We are cybernetic organisms now.
Yeah.
You have, and I don't mean you personally, but most people have as much interface and intercourse, and intercourse is a word. It doesn't mean sex. It means interaction with human beings. I guess you could have intercourse. Anyway.
Right. There's a term, intellectual intercourse. Okay.
Not at this table, there isn't.
Go on.
High five, everyone. Right. You have as much interaction on your computer as you do, or on through your technology.
Through virtual than you do in real life.
Let me get my Star Trek reference in here. We'll do the Holocaust next. In the Star Trek scenario, being taken by the Borg and being made into one of their cyborgs, it's the worst thing that could happen to you. And you guys do that voluntarily.
All right, so the Holocaust, did it happen?
No, I'll just bring it. You know what? I tell you what, these Jews.
Oh, no.
Whoa.
You know what? Hitler.
We apologize
first
to
of all,
any of our
it is
Jewish
hard
listeners.
for me to believe 80 million people died in World War II. 80 million people died. Soldiers, civilians, most of them Russian. Many of them Russian. Hitler exterminated through his process of death camps 25 million people. And these numbers are hard to, like 25, 24. But it is amazing to me how we only talk, when you say the Holocaust, 80% of people would say, well, that's when the Jews got killed. He killed everybody. He killed homosexuals, gypsies, communists. He killed retarded people. He killed enemies, political enemies that weren't communists. And yes, the Jews were in that thing, but I'm going to tell you, what about the other 19 people he killed? Did they get a damn memorial in Washington, D.C.?
It was a monster too.
Let me tell you what I hate about the Holocaust Museum. When I got to the Holocaust Museum, and you go visit it, they told us to line up, men with guns and uniforms told us to line up. This is not a joke. This sounds like a joke. They told us to line up and pass through this, line up and pass into this enclosure. I don't even know if I ever got out. They never saw me again.
Yeah.
They pulled my teeth, tattooed me. That's just to look at a bunch of very disturbing pictures. What, is this too much? Is this too hot for you? Too soon?
No.
It's 1938, 39. My father was born on Crystal Knot. Not a joke. 1938, November 8th, 9th.
Really?
So, I come by it honestly. Where is my swastika tattoo? No, But yeah, the Holocaust, it did happen. It is hard to imagine manufacturing that much death. Hard to imagine.
All right, so we're still all in agreement.
Well, not with everything that was said
not
about
with
that,
everything he
but
said, but the Holocaust.
that the Holocaust did actually happen. I just wanted to clarify that.
9/11.
I thought we already covered that.
We were
just
air.
BSing. What did I say?
We weren't recording then.
What did I say the last time? Was it controversial?
When you were talking about that.
Was it even interesting?
No,
strangely
enough, we were in agreement.
Not. So it was 9/11 an inside job? I think that's how the conspiracy is worded correctly, right?
Right.
Okay.
That's a tough
Is it? Was it a big conspiracy which would take government? It would take airline workers. It would take the passengers. It would take
a lot of
the
silence.
media, all the people, all the construction workers in the buildings. Or is it just simple? Some people came over here from Saudi Arabia, took flight classes on how to take off on a plane. And it's brilliantly simple how simple they did it. You take a box cutter and you hijack the plane and you just crash into a building.
I don't think we'll ever know what really happened. You cannot prove it wasn't an inside job. But watching Building 7 fall with as little damage as was visible on big airplanes flew into the Twin Towers. Is it inconceivable you can fly airplanes into buildings and they fall down? No, that's within the obvious realm of sensible probability. But Building 7, man, God, it looked like a demolition, man. It's hard. Plus, this is true, and you can't deny this. They reported that Building 7 had fallen like 20 minutes before it fell. The woman was reporting that Building 7 had fallen, and you could see Building 7 in the background.
Yeah, hey, we're in agreement again. That's the thing that I think is weird about 9/11.
My conspiracy theory
7.
on 9/11 is this. I believe there were people that knew about the plot to do it. I believe that they did trade stocks. I believe that they did overinsure. And I believe that they did take down building number 7 with explosives.
Yeah, because what kind of documents were in that building?
Was it the IRS or the defense? Right after they said there was $3 trillion missing from the Pentagon budget, I believe that's the. And I don't know.
There was some kind of documents in that building that were sensitive to say.
And watching it fall down, man, there was like virtually no damage to that building. Anyway, we'll never know.
Well, no. I mean, but how do you know that the damage wasn't done to the lower part of the building? Because in the footage, you can't really see that. Like you had another tower collapse, and it could have collapsed into the lower part.
Yeah, but that's if you watch the videos, that's really not the case. That building there were some fires in that building. Some debris did fall, and there were fires, but it certainly wasn't engulfed in flame. It's a tough one to watch and totally dismiss that looks like a real demolition. Plus, I'll say this: when the firemen were evacuating, I think they were trying to fight the fires, but they said something like they're going to pull it, or there was words then. That could have been some guy just speaking. It looked like they said this building's going to collapse. Now that could be they could have seen that it was going to collapse and they got him out,
Now, the only conspiracy that I would sort of agree with, now, the Building 7, I don't know. Maybe there was some shady going on there. But the one that went down in Shanksville.
The airplane.
The only thing I would agree with is, my theory is what could have happened is like one of our jets shot that down.
Nah, I don't. That could have been, but I believe that those guys tried to take over. And this is what They were the only heroes on that day, in my opinion. They were the only heroes on that day. If
the firemen weren't the heroes?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
What?
Absolutely not. Those firemen, and I've never heard anybody else say this, when you see a fire 100 stories up, what did they expect to do? Climbing up those stairwells while people were trying to come down those stairwells, what did they expect to do after climbing 90 stories with 20 minutes of oxygen on your back, maybe a half hour of oxygen on your back? What was the plan there?
I don't think they had a good
Their
plan.
supervision should have been heartily criticized, but because they're dead and they're firemen, you're not allowed to say this. If you don't have a better plan for a high-rise fire, because you can't do anything about it, and it's sad. These guys do want to be heroes, and they look up at that and say, I got to go help. All they did was prevent more people from coming down those stairwells. They were not... The first step of being a hero is protect yourself, and they blew it. 343 men died, and they didn't have to.
I guess I don't necessarily disagree there. I mean, I would still call them heroes. I mean, whether it's well thought out or not, the intentions were good.
It was funny. What was the hurricane that hit New York City? Sandy. There was a scene where there was a road flooded. There were literal fires on the other side of this road, but the road was flooded. So the scene was that the fire trucks pulled up to where the road was flooded, very much like approaching a wash here in Arizona when the wash is full. And they stopped because the road was flooded. And they knew that they couldn't drive the trucks through that. But if they used the same logic as they did on 9/11, they should have just kept driving trucks into the water and drowning all those men. Would they be considered heroes?
Maybe they learned their lesson from 9/11.
I don't think that there's a parallel there. I think that was anyway, it's a controversial thing, and I don't think I'd say that in a New York bar full of firemen.
No.
But their supervision failed them that day. They should have said, stay back, assist with egress. There's nothing you can do up there. What did they hope to... What are you going to do if you're the only fireman on the planet that fires up 100 stories? In what kind of shape are you going to be? I don't care if you're a marathon runner. Carrying all that equipment and that... You're not going to be able to do a damn thing for anybody when you climb 90 stories.
I think they're just trying, to try at all costs. I mean, I don't think that... I mean, yeah... Listening to it, yeah, you're probably right, but to just tell them to just admit defeat right from the start. I mean, but they don't. They're not trained that way. That's
They're training. That's what I'm saying. It's not like your local firefighters here. These people live in a world full of skyscrapers. There should have been a better protocol for a high level fire. Because even if the buildings had not collapsed, what do you as an individual fireman expect to do after climbing 90 stories? You'd be useless, exhausted.
I don't think there's anything in the firefighter's manual about a
planes flying
size.
into towers.
But there certainly should be something about a high level fire.
Sure.
Well, yeah,
I live in a world full. There's no. Wait.
We had that movie in the 70s, The Towering Inferno.
Amen. You know. We got to get to 3 Mile Island since you mentioned Towering Inferno. But the thing is, an aircraft hitting a building in New York, the Empire State Building got hit by a B-17 back in the 40s or 50s. Yeah. And I don't know if it caused a big fire or anything, but I bet it made a hell of a noise. Mm-hmm. It's not unprecedented.
Okay, 3 Mile Island.
Oh, listen to this. I have some... Since you mentioned Towering Inferno, I think 3 Mile Island was done on purpose. I do. I believe it.
They melted down a reactor on purpose.
I actually believe that.
For what purpose?
To keep us in the coal, oil, gas economy. Oh. We were so close to realizing that nuclear power was so safe, so clean, and so efficient. I mean, if that meltdown hadn't happened, everything would be nuclear right now. And even Greenpeace agrees that nuclear power, if we're going to continue to overpopulate the world, nuclear power is the only clean energy.
Okay.
Well, not the only clean energy.
Global warming.
Wait, let's go back to 3 Mile Island. Okay. The movie China Syndrome came out 2 weeks. Now imagine if Towering Inferno came out 2 weeks before 9/11. My argument would be a lot better. But 2 weeks before 3 Mile Island, China Syndrome came out. It was virtually the same scenario. It is as if they read the script and they did that same thing to 3 Mile Island. Nobody had seen that movie?
Yeah. Way back in the day.
It's 2 weeks before. 2 weeks before. And that thing crippled nuclear power for the next 30 years. The next nuclear power plant brought online after that was Watts Bar in Tennessee, and I believe that was 1996. So 20 years it set back the American nuclear power industry.
Okay. So global warming. Real?
I think the
Climate change. We should call it climate change because global warming is
it's
kind
climate.
of, it's a bad
It's
term.
called climate change.
I think the
now.
argument over whether it's human caused global warming or natural climate change is ridiculous. It's moot. It's irrelevant. If you look around at human beings and you don't think we're polluting too much, it doesn't matter what you think about global warming. We're obviously polluting too much. We're making a mess out of this place. So the answer is quit polluting, whether or not you believe in global warming or not, or human caused climate change. We're destroying this place. We're shitting in our house.
Right. And I always looked at it kind of like Mother Nature is kind of like a living organism and it's trying to stay alive. And who's the pest on it? Trying to wipe us out. I mean, you have
We're the parasites.
We have tornadoes
Humans
that
are
go
the parasites.
210 miles on the ground. We have the tsunami that caused the meltdown of the nuclear reactor in Fukushima.
Yeah.
All right, so does he agree climate change is real?
Yeah. Well, I think that if you're saying that, if you don't realize that humans have done this, then clearly that's an agreement.
We're not really having too many opposing views here.
Well,
here's where we're going to have the opposing view.
Just
right
start
here.
talking about
Right
COVID.
Right here. COVID.
Well, you assholes are just wrong.
COVID is fake, then. Is that what you're saying?
In order to have an intelligent discussion about this, we have to separate COVID, the virus, and the disease from our moronic, germophobic reaction to that disease. We can discuss the credibility of the disease itself. And I think you'd be foolish to say, oh, COVID doesn't exist, or COVID is all, something is happening, because our death rates have slightly, and I mean slightly, increased. Something's killing people. But I would argue it might be the stress over the reaction to COVID, which I think is asinine. I think our reaction...
Wait, so you think like 800,000
The people who go on the ventilators, or it's just stress? It has nothing to do with them not being able to breathe?
This is exactly what I'm saying. That is not the argument. What do you see? That is not the argument.
Well, no, I'm asking a question.
I'm talking about...
I'm trying to get you to explain it.
If you want to discuss the details of the virus and the people that suffer from the virus and die of the virus, that is one argument. But this idea of
locking, they still know everything with
locking
that
people in their houses, mandating people to take injections of a RNA. It's not a vaccine. It's not a vaccine. It is an RNA. I don't even know what the proper term would be. But it ain't a vaccine.
It's mRNA.
Yeah.
It's mRNA, not RNA, but it's mRNA. Okay.
Neither one of us know what those letters stand for. Something nucleic acid. I got the two. What is mRNA? Something ribonucleic acid. We should have looked this up because we sound foolish. But it is
okay. Anyways, okay. So you believe that there really is a virus? Okay.
It'd be foolish.
So somebody like me, one of the foolish ones, I just believe that I want the protection from the virus. That's all. I know I'm going to eventually get the virus. I know you're going to eventually get it. I know you're going to eventually get it. We're all going to eventually get it. And now they're saying, it just came out that if you already are vaccinated and then you come out with a breakthrough COVID case, you actually have super immunity. And they haven't I haven't listened to anything now to them discussing it more because they had just found this out. But that was my reasoning for getting the vaccine. I'm like, I just want some amount of protection from the virus. It's the same thing that back when AIDS had came out in the 90s. I mean, it was clearly out before the 90s, but when they finally, or the end of the 80s, excuse me, they finally had found out like more about the virus. If they would have came out with a virus then again, say, I would have went and got that one too. I mean, here's the thing. Most of these people who are so against this vaccine, if they had a vaccine for herpes, which is like gross shit showing up on your face, those motherfuckers definitely would get that. But this, they don't want to get because there's no gross bumps showing up all over your face.
I think we've strayed from the point. I would never presume to tell you what to do with your body.
I know. And I agree with these people. I'm like, you're right. Your body, your choice. Now get on board with me about the abortion thing. Get on board. Since you actually hijacked that phrase and stole it for your anti-vax stuff, get on board with us for the abortion issue too.
Listen,
the whole body, your choice. Fine. You want to use that phrase? Do it. Use it. I believe you. Like, I'm fine with you not getting it. If people don't want to get the vaccine, don't get it. You're right. If you think you can beat it, do it.
I don't think we have ever said that we were for vaccine mandates.
I know. We have never said we were for vaccine mandates.
I really wish that more intelligent people on the left would say, I think that these people may be foolish for not getting the vaccine. But
we think they're idiots. But if they don't want to get it, don't get it.
Amen. And the thing is, and this goes with secondhand smoke, rape, the mandatory vaccine, abortion. It's your body. Do what drugs, marijuana. Do what you want with it. Do it. No. It's your body.
Actually, all drugs. Like I agree with the guy who was president of Mexico when George Bush was our president here, W. Bush. He had said, I want them to make all drugs legal. You take the money, you take the power away from the cartels. Just make all of them legal. Yeah,
and now...
that is their body, their choice. Like, their body, their choice.
Now, the only thing was that I do agree with, though, as far as the vaccine mandates, I'm not for the blanket mandates across the country, okay? But if a company says that you have to be vaccinated to work for that company, or if you're going to a concert and they require proof of vaccination, I agree with those companies' rights to do that.
I agree with their rights to do that because they're allowed to run their body, their choice. Okay. So their body of employment, if they want people vaccinated, they're like, this is what we want here. Go work somewhere else if you don't like it. Which
not on a federal level.
You can do that.
Not on a federal level.
Right. Not on a federal. Don't involve the government. Do the private, private businesses have the right to operate the way private businesses want. Don't we live in a capitalistic country?
Right. Stay with me on this. And this is M, what do you think of mandatory drug testing for employment?
If that's what the company requires, then that's what they require.
What do you think if your daughter works for me, I get to watch her pee?
When does that happen?
Where companies have a policy where they can watch you pee?
That's the truth. You can have you can have an observer that sees the stream of urine leave your body and enter the
for a drug test.
Yes, but what if I just like to watch girls pee? I'm crazy about it, by the way. It's my thing. It's the only way it can come. But my point is, so what do you think now? But of course I can't say, hey, I like to watch people pee, so I'm gonna make them pee. But I do the drug testing.
I've had to take.
Do I think that's what it is?
I've had to take drug tests, and at no point has anyone observed.
No one's
pee.
ever watched me pee either. You have to go into a room where the toilet does not flush. You cannot flush the toilet. You have to put the pee in the canister and put it in the little cubby hole or whatever, and they test it.
Or whatever.
Yeah, they do all that
at its limit. And I'm not, at its limit. I know this is true for the military. At its limit, they can have an observer see the stream of urine leave your body and enter the sample cup. Let's concede that point.
Okay, that's why I didn't go in the military.
Wait.
For that reason.
Maybe it happens in the military.
I think for defense contractors, which is everybody, it's the same rule. I'm only making a point here. If you're a manager of a place and you can't tell that somebody's all fucked up on drugs, I don't need to drug test a druggie to see that they can't do their job because they can't handle their drug use. You're a shitty manager. I don't need you to pee in a cup for me to tell somebody who's...
Then how do you fire them and get away with it without being
because their performance
sued for wrongful termination?
Well, I'm not a union member, so I fire people when they work for me. I fire them because I don't like the color of their skin if I want. I don't give a shit. I'm kidding. That was a hyperbolic argument. But back to the COVID thing.
Hey, as long as you're proud of what you say on here, I mean, go right ahead.
Here's the conspiracy that I'm certain of it.
Okay.
The conspiracy is not that anybody created COVID and released it. And no. The conspiracy is this. We knew that there was going to be some novel virus. We knew that.
Right.
Nobody doesn't think that there's going to be some novel virus.
That's why we had the whole
That's why we have things
But-
like the CDC.
Right. But
all
if you
that in
but
place,
there were people, and Bill Gates is one of them, and the whole Johns Hopkins University and their cabal. They were waiting for the next virus in order to engage this asinine reaction. I've told you about the scenarios, the Event 201 and Clade X. They're little models that they ran, and I wish they're still on YouTube. I can't believe they haven't taken them down. And these are from Johns Hopkins and Bill Gates and a bunch of global leaders. They created this scenario for the next virus, and we're following the scenario of a virus that's supposed to kill 100 million people, and this one's killed 2 million. What is it up to? I think I'm close.
It's more than that because
it's 5
No,
million.
wait.
800,000
Isn't
in
it?
the United States alone.
Yeah,
The thing is, AIDS,
it's 5 million worldwide, I think.
but it certainly isn't 65 million. And our reaction should be different for 65 million than it is for 5 million.
But
I know, but it's
don't
only been going on for like 2 years now.
Don't you
Give
think
it time,
don't
I
you
guess.
think it's only 5 million because there were precautions taken? Like we were wearing masks.
I
we were social
I
distancing,
honestly
Wore
think that
masks.
stuff was
we were getting
like
vaccinated.
Social
You know what,
distancing. Now we have vaccines. Now they're coming out with pills to deal
I
with
think our
it.
reaction was idiotic and germophobic. Germophobic.
But like
Well,
I
no,
said,
no,
give it time because
yeah.
it's not going anywhere. We have new variants all the time.
And I can
So-
agree that our reaction was idiotic because there was no sense in shutting down everything.
Right. No
Because
sense.
we didn't get anywhere.
Right. And looking back on it now, I think they freaked out though. I think they were like, we don't fucking know.
You just leave it open. You just leave everything open, and then we would have gotten the herd immunity. We would all gotten it, and then
This
Fuck
must
it.
be what it's like to be a parent. I am not a parent, but it's like you realize, then you're like looking back, that really wasn't a good idea. That wasn't a good plan with what we did. And then now we've learned, and we're not going to do that next time.
Did you watch South Park? The second
Not
one
yet.
Okay, well they go through that, and what I don't want to.
I should be writing for South Park, apparently.
But yeah, it's along those lines.
I believe this conspiracy was lined up by the people that really run the show, and I'm not talking about the Illuminati, but this is me slurring Illuminati.
You're
They're
talking
made out of aluminum.
about big business.
Our economy is about to crash. We can't help it. Mathematically, it has to crash soon.
Right.
This is a perfect excuse to say, well, this is why the economy crashed because of frickin' COVID, instead of saying, no, we did some things that were very irresponsible, monetarily and financially. It had to crash, and how nice it is that this virus came around, that we can engage this plan that obviously is going to crash the economy, instead of the fact that mathematically it had to crash anyway.
Right.
Because Johnson took us off the gold standard in 1968.
Yeah, because there's no value in money anymore. You're just printing it.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
It's a
We're
joke.
like a credit society.
Why are we paying taxes when they can print $3 trillion a year? We're $30 trillion in debt now with a GDP of $20 trillion. It's all a joke. It's monopoly
Holy
money.
shit, Snow. We're still sort of agreeing.
How can you disagree? Honestly, it's like the burning bushes sitting. You guys should take your shoes off.
Well, that's what people don't understand. If you would like quit screaming your head off at each other and you just talk, you would realize that you had more in common that you disagree on. It's just people get caught up in labels and whatnot, and then they end up fighting over dumb, idiotic things, not realizing that, hey, we agree on a lot.
So Norman, do you feel bad that you're not kind of schooling us? Like, do you feel bad that like you thought you were gonna wipe the table with us?
I know.
No, I really-
Like
you
a game.
came into it like that.
No.
Like you really
This is
were-
not bullshit. I love to argue, but I hate to just disagree and have the wall go up. But I will say this. At its end, if I'm right about this financial collapse and
No, it's coming.
what they always do, what our overlords always do, is they pay half of us to kill the other half. The only thing they're afraid of is pitchforks. I do sound like a lunatic.
We gotta
I'm
all
pretty-
no,
everybody
but we say that.
go out and buy a pitchfork.
We say that. We listen to two different media companies.
Oh, these fuckers.
Okay?
Splitting us in half.
Yeah, divide and conquer. Okay? And who
This is why I got off of Facebook.
You have the same corporate sponsors sponsoring both of these media companies.
It's like a puppeteer running one puppet with one hand.
See, we fucking agree.
They just want to make money.
We still want to argue Biden versus Trump as if the puppeteers. Oh no, Trump wasn't controlled by anybody. Are you shitting me? He was being puppeted just like everybody else.
He's all part of everything he was professing to complain about. He's part of it. He's a member. On the fence.
Was Trump really stupid or is he really brilliant? I think there's a little bit of both there.
Maybe. I don't know.
Let me tell you what. I've studied Trump since the mid 80s when he was being held up as, you know, he would rise and fall with being the champion of finance in New York and real estate. And then
bankruptcies and then coming back.
I'm sitting in management classes and his policy was, well, I'm going to default on this many $1 million if you don't loan me this many more $1 million. And he actually, and I think Roy Cohn was really pulling his strings while he was still alive. And I bet it was more than his string. It's a gay joke. It's a gay joke on Roy Cohn. He's not standing right behind me, is he? Yeah, thank God he's dead. He's shaking hands with Hitler and Judas Iscariot as we speak.
Okay.
Those three Jews. I'm not anti-Semitic at all. I just think it's most of my Jewish friends like joking.
Oh yeah, I bet they love
Don't
these jokes.
mention any of my friends' names. Larry Finkelstein. Anyway, yeah, no. What was I babbling about?
Whether Trump was a genius or not?
No, he's no genius. That guy's a fiend. He doesn't pay his bills. His idea, and it's brilliant in American. This is the American MBA for you. Borrow a bunch of money, incorporate, let the corporation go broke, pay yourself $1 million a year, keep the money. Form a corporation, borrow a bunch of money, pay yourself a huge salary, let the corporation go broke.
We should all start doing this.
Yes,
but this is what's going to lead to the economic collapse.
Oh, absolutely. But this cannot happen in a real commodity-based monetary system. It can't happen.
Yes.
Well, it can happen to a certain level.
Right,
but
so I guess the big takeaway from this is fuck Johnson.
Who's Johnson?
LBJ.
Oh, that guy was evil.
You said it earlier.
There you go. See, this is what we do. We wrap it up. We bring it all around to where we started.
So anyway.
This is why we have a podcast and you don't, because we know how to wrap it up.
To do the closure.
Okay, well, thank you.
Everybody needs closure, right?
Right.
Thanks for having me on.
But this has been a fun one.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed
it was a
this
good
one.
one.
Freaking told you, people.
We knew.
She was hesitant. I saw it in your eyes too. It's one big goddamn conspiracy.
We are always like, anyone is welcome to come on. We love to discuss. That's what we're here for, right?
Yeah.
We were even entertaining the idea about having call-in things where we could discuss with people.
That would be way more fun. Do we have the technology
with our
to do that?
listeners out here?
Our last one, we were on the phone with
I mean, if we can make Lee Majors run 60 miles an hour, certainly we can have some call-ins. Let's do that. Let's use one of your phones.
Well, we couldn't use yours.
We could do my Google Voice.
All right.
Or we could create another Google Voice.
Create another phone. It's all tied in. The Matrix knows.
Oh no, I don't dismiss that. No, but we're not. Except for the.
I mean, Zuckerberg is listening to this right now, anyways. Knows that we called him an alien.
No, he's curled up in the fetal position, shedding his skin right now.
Yeah. All right, so you agree there's
it's almost time for hibernation.
Right.
No, it should be hibernation already. Right?
All right. On that note, thank you, Norman. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Good
Good
night.
to have you on.
Yes. Bye, y'all.
It was fun. All right. Bye.